participate in this.
What are we going to talk about, Mariana?
So the thing is that, you know, agriculture, you're having the agriculture experience, which is the audience to.
I'm known as Farmer Ray, by the way.
So Farmer Ray, you know much about all about the you know the chemicals that are going onto our food and nutrition, which is a big factor with us. We need all the information that people can get.
Let me say a couple of things that I'll bring to the attention of people. When I was a young fella, we didn't have all the varieties of pesticides, herbicides, nor did we have any fertilizer except potash and sulfate of ammonia. That was the only fertilizer that you would be able to buy from the hardware shop. What did we grow with? Cow manure, mulch, horse manure, chook manure, and we would take back into the soil what we had grown. We would even grow legumes to put the nitrogen back into the soil.
So the thing is that it's not like an orange is not an orange anymore. A tomato is not a tomato.
Well, we've got two things happen. You've got now the genetically controlling and genetically modifying, and you buy the seed of a tomato today, you put that in the ground, you end up with tomatoes, but the seed from those tomatoes won't grow.
About it, and is this happening just here in Australia, or is it happening worldwide? Right.
Well, this new world order mob, they're trying to take control of the food everywhere, and they're making literally trillions of dollars, not only of modifying the seed so that you no longer have what we call open pollinated variety of watermelons and tomatoes and cucumbers, etc. We've now got genetically modified product, which means we can't reproduce food after its own kind without going back to the people who have a patent on the seeds.
And also that we've got trouble with our bees. They're getting
Yeah,
extinct.
well, worse than that. Yeah, they've introduced their harp. The harp is a weapon. HAARP. Look that up on Google, and you're going to find that. Just put in Google harp secret weapon, and you're going to get the shock of your life. But what harp is also doing, it disrupts the normal electromagnetic field around the Earth. Now that normal electromagnetic field is there the way God created the world. It's there for a purpose.
It's there for birds to know to fly and migrate.
Yeah.
It's there for the whales and fish, and the list goes on. So people need to be quite aware.
Well, people are not aware of this because they took it out of the school curriculum. You see, I learned about it in the 40s because it was there. Today it's not in the curriculum. But to cut it short...
But people don't even know how to eat properly. Nutrition, like all our food is processed.
Go there, before you go on the nutrition part of it, take a bee. Walk out into the garden wherever you live now. See if you can find any bees.
Or how many butterflies we see.
Butterflies too. How many butterflies? I mean, have a look. You will find that what's happening, the bee goes out, gets a load of pollen, but then can't find its way back home to the hive. Why? Because of the harp and the chemtrail activity, which they say is a conspiracy. There is no harp, and they say there's no chemtrail, right?
But also the chemicals that affects the bee, affects the plant,
are
genetically
modified. So they genetically modify like soya.
They pollinate, so without bees, they won't produce fruit.
And they've put the pesticide gene in that seed, in that flower. Now when the bee comes along and takes the pollen out of the flower, it kills the bee. Now what do you think will happen within the next 2-3 years if we don't have bees? Just think about it, because they are responsible for our food.
Correct, but also if you affect the bees, it will also affect our bodies as well. Our bodies will mutate, will create deformities, and there's worldwide that there is places that huge deformities occur. It was even lately on 60 Minutes. And the extent because of all these poison. So four corners of the world, we need to wake up and put and re-regulate what can be consumed. I mean, we need our medicine.
I just want to cover another point that people don't realise about the harp and the electromagnetic field. We lodge, not only us, but a lot of people have lodged tens of thousands of complaints against the EPA and the government and Birds Australia and other organisations about thousands of birds not only dropping out of the sky, but thousands of birds were dead all over the ground. And these people turned around and said, oh no, it was because of heat, hot summer days were killing the birds. You know, how naive, how gullible do they think the public are? These birds dropped out by the thousands and died by the thousands, and they are giving us...
And the fishes
and
as
the
well.
fish, yeah, the fish died. You know? And I asked the EPA and I asked the government in West Australia, I asked them and said, well, did you test the water? Now, when we tested the rainwater on the east coast of Australia, we found it up to 300 parts per million of heavy metal. Now, if you were to feed a cockatoo those heavy metals, I'm telling you, which included arsenic, it would kill them.
But not just that, if our nature's getting destroyed,
right.
we
So
are our children, our
Yep.
future, our children of our generation now and our future.
And they will say, after all those complaints, when they say, oh no, it's a conspiracy. Well, I again say to you, and I said to the government department, did the conspiracy kill the bees, kill the butterflies, kill the frogs, kill the birds? Is that what's happening? Conspiracy can do this?
And if there's no food, what happens to society? If there's no...
much to share with people.
Yeah, it's so short.
Well, we've got so much to share with you, but in the meantime, you know, as we said before, if there's any hope at all, please Google, have a look at these group of people that are calling themselves the Australian Sovereignty Party. The Australian Sovereignty Party. Give them a look, have a look at them, investigate them, and if you want to do something about saving this country, do so. Give them a call.
Link. So we look at what's the cause, what's the disease, how it's manifesting in the body, and what we can do. What are the things that come in, you know, and what's happening in your life. I mean, we transcend back all the way from probably when you were conceived. So, you know, we look at all of those aspects and what is it inherited weakness that you've got, a disposition, or is it other elements or abuse or whatever?
Well, I always understood, going to the lectures with Brian Morley, I always understood, as he put it, you don't inherit a disease.
Correct.
But you can only inherit a weakness in your body which will allow that disease to come in. But there's a reason for that. If your mum and dad ate a lot of fatty products and a lot of pork and what have you, and they had bowel cancer,
it's habits.
You'll end up with bowel cancer if you too follow mum and dad's bad habits. So there's more to it than inheriting a weakness for the heart, for the organs of the body.
Culture,
it's inheriting the bad habits that came with it. You explain that.
And so that's what it is. It's about culture, it's about habits, and habits are very hard to change. So, and that is the most hardest thing. And what we are told by the TV or media, it's healthy. Is it really healthy? And that's the question people have to ask. Is sugar healthy for you? What is a substitute for sugar? What is a substitute for coffee? What is all of these things that it can have a high doses of antioxidants, but you can also have, it feeds the body, it feeds the metabolic deficiency, and you get your cure. So that's how you get your cures.
Yeah, it's amazing what I saw in that film clip that you showed me, and we'll put that on for these people to have a look at now.
So what we're going to do with that, it will be a documentary. So I'll look at other professionals from different fraternities.
Well, that film clip that you showed me showed 2.4 million people have died from drugs and pharmaceutical products, but only 10 people have died because they used natural remedies.
I've had the hardest ever thing. My uncle had a car accident, as you know, and the nutrition, it was appalling. If I'll actually put some photos as in the hospital, what type of food, and because he didn't have tension. There was no live food whatsoever. I mean, if we're going to, we need TCNM remedies, we need herbs, we need minerals, we need homeopathy, we need and food. The most of our food is to be superfoods, and to concentrate on those superfoods.
The old simple remedy. If you want to stay healthy, well, your body's got to be alkaline, not acid, and yet you've got to know what foods cause your body to be acid. And if you don't know what foods cause your body to be acid, you're not going to get well, and you'll get obese and you'll get sick. It might take a month, it might take a year, it might be 10 years, but when your organs break down, that's it. They break down because of your lifestyle and what you put in your mouth, the way you food and you drink.
That's right. I mean, there's lots of books that say why people get sick today. It's you know, it's what we put in and what we absorb, what our body is absorb.